Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on tonight? We are going to dig in and talk a little bit about, you guessed it, cryptocurrency, Ripple XRP, the price rises, moon time. But you know what's going on is that despite all the resistance from the SEC and the Treasury and all those things happening, we're seeing momentum. We're seeing Bitcoin hitting 56,000. We're seeing the wheels start churning over there in XRP land. All the crypto space is beginning to heat up. And one thing that is for certain is that year over year, XRP is sitting at a 350% gain. So you know what? That's where we're going to start. Chip, if you're ready to kick this thing off, I'm ready. I think everyone else is ready too.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
All right, what's up?
Yoo-hoo. Yeah, what's up? So something new we're trying, guys, and we're trying. If you go to our last video, you guys will see chapter markers, and that means you can kind of jump around the video to a point, whatever. You can just go in there and look at the last video, and we've been greatly assisted by this with Hans Loaded. So big shout out to Hans Loaded for helping out with that, because when Jeff and I talk, it's just impossible to write it down. He's done a great job. So see what you guys think, but I think it's a huge improvement, at least on the YouTube videos. If you're on the podcast side, then well, you just got to skip around yourself, hit that 30-second or fast forward to the 15-second backup if you miss something. But that's the best way to do it. But Jeff, it seems to me like every day gets a little crazier, a little nuttier, and then a little better at the same time. It's kind of like
It does.
It's almost like chaos, but with some good stuff, really good stuff happening. So it's interesting.
Yep. It's good stuff. So, there's right now, it's interesting too, because I know you have a bunch of stuff pulled up. I've got bunch of stuff pulled up over here. We've got some interesting commentary that we'll get to here in a little bit from Senator Loomis regarding the IRS reporting requirements of that $600. But then it's the same Senator Loomis that was also very, very outspoken when they tried to cram crypto legislation into that so-called infrastructure bill. Then we've got Charlie Gasparino, commenting in about what's going on. There's some interesting things going on over in Texas that Senator Cruz pointed to using some of the natural gas over there. But I also know that here's what's interesting, because this is global. We focus a lot about what's going on in the US, mainly because, well, that's where we are. And there's also this big SEC case against Ripple that just so happens that case against Ripple also is can be very influential over crypto in general, what's going on here in the US. But Chip, you know what I thought's interesting? El Salvador decided to adopt Bitcoin in the mainstream. Now, you put up an article here that shows that Bitcoin is mainstream in many countries for the unbanked, but we're also seeing, some momentum in other countries that are adopting it on a governmental level.
It's a really good sign to see. It says that, and again, if a government's, I think there's a kind of different way to look at this. A government adopting Bitcoin is fantastic, right? Because what they're really saying is that, we believe in blockchain, we believe in decentralization. Now, if a CBDC is masquerading as a blockchain, it has nothing to do with blockchain. It's masquerading as crypto, nothing to do with crypto. It just sounds great. It's like, ooh, a CBDC, when in fact it's not even. It's centralized. That's the first problem with it, and it's just a digital form of the fiat. I mean, I can't see where the outcry is, Jeff, for people going, we don't have enough of digital versions of our fiat currency, especially when with the inflation going up, they're losing value. And if it's pegged to it, they get a digital asset, a digital fiat version that's losing value, right? It's sitting there losing value. So I'm happy to see governments embracing it. I'm happy to see the unbanked get the help and support they need.
Yeah. So so what's interesting, Chip, from that perspective, in many countries, they're looking at, like you said, Bitcoin, the start of, many other assets, because Bitcoin is one that's recognized on a global scale right now. Everyone knows, everyone talks about it. There's definitely a lot going on in certain countries like Afghanistan. Afghanistan has a Bitcoin escape, and mainly, because of, these countries have horrible economies that are very, very centralized that you referenced, but they're complete disasters. It's not like, an economy like over in China with the yuan, the digital yuan, and they have a lot of control over what goes on over there. You have countries where, it's just a disaster. Afghanistan is a good example. Venezuela, good example. Iran has lost a lot of control, and on and on and on. But you have these inflationary economies like El Salvador or Brazil. Man, what about here in the U.S.? I'm looking at, how we have, such inflation that's spiking right now with the price of gas, the price of food, all over the world. They're seeing inflation take root, like they never have before, but especially here in the U.S. And, is digital asset like a haven from this devaluation of our fiat?
Exactly right. And, so some of the, kind of along with that, we always talk about regulation. And somebody put up here, XRP New Zealand said when executive order. So a couple people reached out to me on Twitter. They sometimes make comments about it. I guess about maybe 5-6 days ago, the administration, it's kind of hard to really phrase it, but apparently what I believe they've done, Jeff, is they've floated a trial balloon and said, we are going to appoint a crypto czar who's going to smash your face in, throat punch you, and do all that thing. What do you think? Well, when a trial balloon is, you want to get the opinions of the people. So you go like, I'm going to do this. Like if you ever watch a politician, they'll get out there and they'll throw some ideas, some trial balloons out there like, hey, you know what I'm thinking about doing? I'm thinking about making crypto illegal. And it's like, whoa, that's not well received. And then that you never hear about that again. I think in this case, they don't really know what they're going to do. They don't have it figured out. They're not even close to getting it figured out. Like I would always say, they're not even the right library, the right bookshelf, or the right book. They're completely rogue. And the real question is, how do we push this more towards the isms? Socialism, fascism, you name all the isms in there. They're like, how do we really do that? Does it meet that sort of standard? And if it does, they do. And then look who else is in the chat here, Jeff. I don't know if you noticed this, but Sir John is with us tonight.
John, what is up, Sir John? It's good to see him in here.
Good to see him in here. Yeah.
Good to see you, Sir John.
And I wanted, Jeff, I want to start with this Deaton. He put some really interesting facts in chronological order. And, sometimes you forget about these things. It's been a little bit of time. So is that something we could start with?
Yeah, do you want to throw that in there?
Or do you want to hit yours first, and we'll circle back?
Well, yeah. Well, these are just some interesting news stories. I know normally we carry them later on, but this is interesting because, and this is something Hans Loaded had shared with us, but this is the wrath of conmen. But
he's awesome.
The official press release from Bhutan about their CBDC project with Ripple, and so despite all of the negative news that we see out there, all the FUD news in and around the crypto space, that regardless of what goes on, a lot of times negative news is there to cover up all the positives and the growth, as they're trying to push a specific narrative. But here we see the Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan, and we had referenced this a few weeks ago, I think right around the time that it had posted on the 23rd of September. But this is the official press release for those who might have said, hey, you know what, maybe we missed it. But this is a central bank digital currency that is built on the XRP ledger.
Click on the link above. Let's look at it.
Which link?
Let's unpack it. The link above to the actual press release. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, let's check it out. Let's see what it actually, there we go.
There we go. So
see if there's anything interesting in there.
Where am I? Here we go.
There you go. Sweet.
Get rid of that. There we go. So I love this. In collaboration with Ripple Labs, the leading provider of enterprise blockchain and crypto solutions for cross-border payments, is piloting a project on central bank digital currency in Bhutan. Now, one of the things that we've talked about a lot is, if you're going to build a central bank digital currency, are you going to make it yourself and make it very centralized, just like your fiat? Or are you going to try something different and move on to, let's say, a blockchain that is has some of the technology already built into it, and work with a company that for the past 10 years has actually shown that they can build a cross-border payment solution, and they actually have the talent and the skill to develop something that would be beneficial in this space. So here you have, and so as you go on, CBDC is a digital form of fiat currency issued by a central bank. While central banks have different reasons for exploring CBDCs, the common driving force that's relevant for Bhutan is the need to adapt to overall digital transformation. But I also think it's a mechanism to try to rein in some of the out of control issues that they have with currency, and they really think that they can make a major change here. But here you have retail CBDCs provide a digital alternative to the public in the face of declining usage and acceptance of cash. But there's multiple different points here. Chip, here it says that here they're using Ripple sustainable blockchain tech, and that's really, I think, the underline of everything. And one of the things that we talked about the other day with Matt Hamilton was the side chains, and what side chains can do to allow you to build a private chain for this exact purpose.
That's exactly right. Read that last paragraph, Jeff. It's interesting, that last one.
So here it says, building atop its current payment infrastructure, the RMA will pilot retail, cross-border, and wholesale payment use cases for a digital Nagotrum using Ripple sustainable blockchain tech, which will be tested in trial phase with the banks, payment service providers, and other relevant stakeholders. So, and it's going to, built on top of the infrastructure. Man, I think it's really important. So they're going to have something called, I guess in Bhutan they have the Nagotrum. So now they're going to make the digital Nagotrum.
Yeah, and how far are we off on the pronunciation on that?
I'm sure we're way off.
In a different world.
I'm sure it's not pronounced Bhutan, and it's definitely not pronounced Nagotrum.
It's like knucklehead.
Knucklehead.
You Nuggletrum.
Yeah.
What are you, some kind of Nuggletrum? What are you trying to do here, Jeff? That's what it kind of sounds
someone
like.
out there that could say, "Hey, you guys have butchered the name again."
Well,
Once again, throw in a transliteration of it.
Yeah, when they sent that out for distribution, you think they CC'd Daddy G. Gensler on that one? You think he said like, "Hey, by the way, here's an amazing use case for, because Ripple has other tech, they're really looking at XRP, the digital asset, but here they are complaining." And one of the things where XRP is utilized when they start talking about cross-border payments, and they start talking about interoperability, yeah, the pilot program is going to probably run all of that. So, I mean, as far as being able to put that and convert that to another currency, that's exactly what it'll be used for. So that's kind of it's a big deal, man.
That's it. And let's go branded, Chip. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And what else? What else we got here? Look at this. It's in I feel bad about even trying to read these names here. Thimphu, Bhutan. Thimphu.
Thimphu. Well, that's going to be our, like I said, I only speak one language, and I do it so poorly that, but I do understand Spanish. My wife speaks Spanish, her kids speak Spanish. I, on the other hand, understand it.
Chip. I have no excuse. I speak 2 languages, and I've studied 4. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, there you are. You see how that works, Jeff?
There I am. And it has not helped me with my pronunciation whatsoever.
Well, it's not about pronunciation necessarily. Well, but here we go. So let's look at this right there. So John Deaton put this out. He said, these are the facts. They are not in dispute. I want to say like Deaton say that. They're not in dispute. These are the facts, And March 23rd, 2017, Jay Clayton agrees to recuse himself from voting on any matter related to his law firm, Sullivan and Cromwell clients, right? November 30th, 2017, Lubin and Consensus, this is Joe Lubin, announced the Brooklyn Project, right? Look at these dates here. And then we go into December 13th, 2017. Hinman has a meeting with Lubin and Consensus and lawyers from Sullivan and Cromwell. That's Jay Clayton's law firm. Then on December 14th, Matt Corva of Consensus, along with lawyers from Sullivan and Cromwell, state that they're building an alliance with the SEC. Then on January 28, 2018, Clayton meets with Andreessen and Horowitz and instructs them to put together a group and write up a memo. Perkins Coie, which is in the news a lot lately for being, I'm trying to see if I can put this lightly, but you talk about nefarious things, they're all over the nefarious things. And here's another one. I don't want to get in the other one because, Jeff, we got to be careful of what we can say. So Perkins Coie, a member of the EEA, leads the group of ETH investors, right? Then you got March 12th, 2018. Brad Garlinghouse speaks publicly about Ripple using XRP to replace SWIFT. So you see the narrative's kind of building here. Then on March 26, 2018, Perkins Coie sends Hinman the memo and safe harbor proposal. The only crypto asset mentioned, coincidentally, Jeff, in that safe harbor is ETH. That's it. It's like, here's the memo. There's, I don't know how many at the time in 2018. We're talking about 3 years ago. There's thousands of digital assets, but they focus on ETH.
Hinman also got the safe harbor.
Yeah. They all got safe harbor. They also got safe travel, safe harbor, go where you want. It's all been safe. March 28, 2018.
I wonder if he read it. Unlike Daddy G.
Yeah, that's why he wouldn't answer that question the other day. It's like, but have you read it? We talk all the time. I know, but have you read it? If he says yes or no, then the next line of questioning, he's just got to be like a politician and not pretending to do it. March 28, 2018, Ether investors meet secretly with Hinman asking for a regulatory free pass from the SEC. April 19th, 2018, the meeting is leaked and Nathaniel Popper reports Ether investors seek a non-security designation from the SEC. Then on April 23rd, still in 2018, Gensler comments that Ripple and ETH, a crypto, need more regulatory clarity. Interesting. SEC meets again with Lubin and Consensus on April 23rd, 2018. Then in May, on Liz Clayman's show, Charlie Gasparino reports the Brooklyn Project and Consensus, along with Joe Lubin, who are working closely with the regulators to create a self-regulatory body being sanctioned by the SEC. The Brooklyn Project attempts to correct Gasparino's report. Gasparino rebukes this attempt and tweets out he knows what he was told by Andrew Keys about the SEC. And May 12, Lubin says he's making great strides with the regulators. On May 24th, still in 2018, Lubin claims he can issue tokens in ways detailed in Hinman's speech, which have not happened yet. And then on June 5th, Novogratz, this is, what's his first name, Novogratz? Mike, is it? I don't remember what his name is.
Mike Novogratz.
Mike Novogratz, yeah. Mike Novogratz, close friends with Lubin, says he'll bet dimes to donuts the SEC will declare present Ether not a security. Speech is only 9 days away. It sounds like, it's coincidental, but it almost sounds like there was a little bit of inside. They knew something. Does it sound like that to you, Jeff?
It does. It sounds just like Nancy Pelosi and her husband, how they were doing all that insider trading.
Right, and people following their trades were making 65% gains on their stocks because of that information. Right. Novogratz also predicts the SEC will soon pick a token and go after it. Whoa. The speech was attached to 63 emails. Now, these are the emails in question, and these are the ones that the Ripple attorneys are going after. They're trying to get these because if the speech went out to 63 people, well, who were they? Are they some of the people that Novogratz here, Lubin? Who, is it about the Brooklyn Project? This is what I think, what potentially gets uncovered that's larger than even this lawsuit. Do you think there's some other weird stuff going on there potentially?
It's just every time, we look and there's more information that comes out. I think the biggest issue with all of this is that, there's this, they go down this path of trying to distinguish personal opinion from professional opinion. And I think that's, if they can clear that part up and says, if you're working for said organization and you get invited to speak, because of your position with said organization, that anything you say in that presentation, unless you're very clear to stipulate that, by the way, this opinion isn't one that's held by my organization, but this is my personal opinion only. Without that clause, anything you say is professional opinion, especially when you're speaking in front of this group on behalf of said organization with the logo of said organization. At that point, it is no longer personal opinion. Now, you get rid of that whole, narrative, all of this stuff falls into place because now it becomes very clear, that, you have individuals that have now spoken with a professional opinion, and people responded in kind and said, well, I responded based on the fact that you said such and such, and you're the representative of the SEC. Why would I take your word differently? Why would I understand it any way else other than what you said? It was very clear. It was black and white. Here's what you said. That's what I understood. I'm taking away that is your professional opinion based on the organization that you're working for and representing. That's it.
No, that's exactly right.
think?
And there was a really good comment here. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Sometimes these things go there. So I want to pull it up. This is CG here. He says,
I saw that. That's
the
good.
trial is like the movie Bananas, and that was a Woody Allen flick. I remember watching this a bunch of times. It was always on TV when I was younger and kid and whatever. Fielding Mellish, that was the what did I just say? What am I saying Woody Harrelson for?
Woody Harrelson.
It's not Woody Harrelson. It's not Woody.
He was born at that point.
It's Woody Allen. It's Woody Allen. So yeah, that was his character. Fielding Mellish, that was Woody Allen. He says, I object, Your Honor. The trial is a travesty. It's a travesty of a mockery of a sham, of a mockery of a travesty of two mockeries of a sham. So that was good. That was pretty funny. It was a nice it's not often you see somebody throw up the Bananas quote in the comments, so I thought that was pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Here's another one, Chip, and I stand corrected. Oscar saying it's not insider trading; it's personal trading that the public doesn't need to know about.
Jeff, how could you get that so wrong? It's not insider trading. It's not insider information. Thank you for that, Oscar, for the big old correction there. And then I want to jump into let's go. It goes a while, but I think it's worth. Now we're still in 2018 until I change.
A lot of this.
Yeah, June 8th, consensus meets with the SEC again, and then Lubin says the market needs the SEC to scare certain projects away. Wow, you're really starting to see the narrative build here. And then June 13th, a couple of days later, a memo analyzing whether XRP is a security is passed among the SEC staff. The SEC refused to turn it over because it's likely inconclusive that XRP is a security. Then you got June 14th. So there's a few days apart here.
And everything is very clear. It's very clear. Going
back to
2013, it's so clear. So clear.
And you got him in speech, which declares putting aside the fundraising of Ethereum's ICO, Ether is not a security. Now, the funny part about that, Jeff, is why, if they were so nonchalant about sharing personal opinions, like, hey, but they came out as, they're always covering their basis. But I think where John Deaton's going with this is that, okay, that's not what the industry saw. And the SEC sort of backed it up. And that's where it was less of his opinion and more about SEC guidance. So when he said it wasn't a security, now they could have just as easily come off to Ripple and said, hey, listen, we're questioning what happened in 2013. We're not questioning today's XRP, which obviously is a decentralized digital asset, right? But no, they're happy to talk about Ethereum's ICO. Yeah, I know it wasn't good. And ICOs, we usually go after them. But this time, we're going to give it a pass. And after Hinman, Lubin appears on the same stage, claiming he wasn't able to read through Bill's entire speech and asked Hinman spoke about XRP at all.
Did you clarify who Lubin is?
Joe Lubin from the Consensus. Yeah, he's throughout this whole thing. He's the one behind the Brooklyn project. He's the one behind the, also Novogratz was the big time investor that that Vitalik Buterin thanked publicly, saying if it wasn't for your investment, we probably wouldn't have made it. Then the moderator responds that XRP wasn't mentioned, and Lubin replies, well, that's interesting. See, it's kind of like we talked about this. July 26th, Brad Garlinghouse notes that Coinbase announced it was listing ETC 2 days before the speech. Is that supposed to be ETC? What is that? Maybe that was supposed to be ETH 2 days before the speech. I'm not sure.
No, because
What's ETC?
2018, was Coinbase. Oh wait, were they? Did they just list ETH at that point? 2018. Let me think. No, ETH was already on Coinbase. So
Yeah, I'm saying, but he's got ETC.
Must have been new there.
Might have been. And then in July, and then June 26th, Lubin tells the Domino. Let's see who is this? Dominic Chu. That's on CNBC. He believes that Ripple XRP is massively overvalued. July 6, 2018, Lubin says, I drove lots of the legal work. We got a piece of paper in our pocket before we actually launched the token sale. Ether had an ICO in 2014. Well, yes and no. It really wasn't an ICO. They introduced the coin. They had investors come in. It wasn't rolled out until June of 2015. So August 19th, Lubin praises the SEC, claims it's given pretty high quality clarity regarding crypto. Oh, that's nice to hear, Jeff. Oh, the SEC. And, he came out like a week or two ago, said, oh, the SEC is fantastic. They're doing a great job. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, until they go after your project or your company. Lubin adds that Clayton indicated they wouldn't be grandfathered anybody in, and that the securities law issues are pretty close to being resolved. Of course, contrast Lubin's claims with Hester Peirce criticism regarding the lack of clarity back in 2018, and she's still talking about it today.
That's it. That to me, that's a strong statement right there. Because if you look at 2000, so Lubin is adding that Clayton indicated they wouldn't be grandfathering anybody in, but the securities law issues are pretty close to resolved. I mean, that's amazing to me, right? So 3 years ago, no, it's all resolved. No issues. And 3 years later, no resolution. But yeah, Gary Gensler kind of picks up on that mantra and is saying, hey, no, it's very clear. Everything's very clear to him too. But Hester Peirce, no, it's not.
Well, there's a building narrative here. And, what I love about what John Deaton says at the beginning of this, these are facts. They're not disputed. They're not disputed. They happen. And I don't know. He put them all to this tweet thread, like stormed together, put them in chronological order. When you see them in chronological, I've seen a bunch of them before, but never put together where it starts building a narrative. Like on September 17th, you got Lubin warns of a reckoning is coming from the SEC for certain projects. Well, how does he know that, Jeff? He was all pro SEC and knowing that they got the pass and everything was cool, but there's a reckoning coming, right? September 26th in 2018, Gary Gensler describes XRP as a currency in the banking sector. I know we played that at least once or twice here where he goes on about, yeah, it's a currency. And we've got October.
But that's when he was teaching at MIT, right? Or was that?
Yeah.
What year was he at MIT?
Well, I think he was there for maybe a couple years, but I know the CFTC was the last previous administration. So his last tenure would have been like 2012 through 2016, something like that.
Right.
But again, yeah. So, but he was the CFTC chair back then, and he loved going after other things, but you didn't really hear his name too much. And then on October 15th, Lubin says he escaped ETH being an unregistered security by creating reality through words. What? So this Lubin guy seems like he's like the inside guy who knows a lot of stuff, who dumped probably a ton of money into it, but that's okay. It's not, it's just something we don't know about. It doesn't have anything to do with insider trading, none of that. October 28th, Nancy Wotas, who participated in the secret meeting in March, disagrees with him in that Ether is sufficiently decentralized to not be a security. Now, if you remember, we played that clip of her last week when she was talking into that, and then Wendy Moore, Perkins Coie adds, well, then why isn't Ripple? And we played that clip too. XRP ledger is arguably more decentralized than Ether. Yep. So Jeff, I want to get your thoughts on the fact that the whole idea of Ether going toe to toe with apparently getting a pass. They didn't choose Ether first, which would have violated two things. It looks like an ICO. And looks like they're not all that decentralized. And if we remember Charlie Gasparino, when he went ahead and asked, when he confronted the SEC said the reason they went after Ripple was because their network wasn't built out. So what do we have with ETH? We have, well, first of all, it looks very similar to a coin offering, maybe not initial coin offering. We have the fact that over a period of time, you know, they're not as decentralized. And then the third part of it, not only they're not decentralized, what was the third part, Jeff? I forgot. I just went through them. Man, how can I have short-term memory loss? I just said it. Anyway, there's three things. I want to get your thoughts on why did they choose Ripple to go after Ripple and the digital asset XRP when this is glaring?
It's pretty clear. Well, no, I think it's pretty clear, you know, because if you look at, you know, the bigger players, and you know, there's a lot of players out there, but if you look at the top players in the space, you know, you think about the Ethereum Foundation, you think about Ethereum, you think about Bitcoin, and you think about XRP, but you think more about Ripple. Now, if the SEC is going to pursue action, they're going to go after an entity that they can go after, you know, because right now the SEC can't come after Bitcoin because they come after Bitcoin. And what are they going to do? You know, they know, and Gary knows that they cannot issue any kind of regulation on Bitcoin because that has to be done by Congress. And so Congress has to create the pathway. You know, the SEC can make all sorts of statements all they want and try to come after it, but then there's going to be, you know, it's going to be really difficult to come after Bitcoin, my opinion, you know, but they come after Ripple. It's an easier case to make because there's you know, defendants in the case. You know, you can come after two key people and a company and make statements about, hey, you know, since 2013, you guys were dealing in an unregistered security. I think it would be really difficult for them at this point to even try to come after Vitalik with Ethereum, but they can definitely come after what they're doing. And if they come, and I think, you know, when they dropped the bomb, I still think there was a lot more to why Clayton did what he did, when he did it, how he did it, and then left. And now the current administration and Gensler, they're botching it and tripping over themselves with it, as we've talked about so many times over.
Oh yeah.
But if they were to get the outcome, the desired outcome they wanted from Ripple, the Ripple case, everything else would fall into place according to what their desired outcome is. But they did not anticipate, which we've referenced multiple times over, they did not anticipate the fact that the crypto community at large is extremely outspoken. And they ruffled a lot of feathers, especially within the XRP community. And they also have undermined, or, you know, they've yet to truly absorb the idea that Ripple has got all the top lawyers plus ex-SEC people working for them, and they've done pretty much everything right, you know, reaching out and doing what they have to do to orchestrate the rollout of their project. They have some of the top people in the space. The SEC has done the exact opposite, but that's why I think it's really clear to me why they've gone after Ripple, why they aren't going after Ethereum, why they aren't going after Bitcoin. It's because, and they tried it with Kick, and look how nothing. Nobody cared. You know, it's like they went after Kick, a Canadian company, and Kick tried to, you know, spit in the eye of the SEC. And everyone at that time was like, hey, just work with the SEC. They'll figure it out. Right. And they said, hell no, we're raising money. We're going to get everyone up in arms and we're going to go after the SEC. $5 million fine. No clarity. The retail wasn't even touched. Nobody still knows if you're able to buy or sell the KIN token. I think it was very ambiguous. But the SEC gained $5 million. They got $5 million free dollars. That's it.
Peanuts, though, Jeff.
The rest of it is crazy. Oh, it's peanuts. Yeah, I mean it's just kind of crazy. You know.
I want to put this from XRP Speedboat. Thank you for that. He says, "Happy Thanksgiving here in Canada. I'm thankful for the On the Chain family, XRP, Mr. John Deaton, plenty of toilet paper, and no one is kicked in the front door." And then I'll put a yet after that. He didn't write that, but I'll put a yet after that.
Yeah.
So I want to wish all of our friends, you know, Jeff and I are wishing you guys all a happy Thanksgiving. So thank you for that. And, you know, ours comes up next month, and it's always a joyous time to get together with family and eat way too much food and all that kind of stuff. But
and here's another one right there. Too fast for you. Also in Canada. So happy Canadian Thanksgiving to you guys.
Just say Happy Thanksgiving, man.
You don't learn the power of a community at MIT.
Oh, you don't. No, you do
You
not.
definitely don't.
You
That's
definitely do not learn that. So, I think that was well said, Jeff. The only thing I would say is
there's
that
another one here too.
you cannot go ahead and throw that up there.
Another
You find it? There you go.
Yeah, we got EC over here. See how they spun more than the wheel of fortune.
Wheel of Fortune. I love that. One of the things, though, Jeff, is the fact that they're going back to 2013, right? So, I mean, you go back to 2009 when the Satoshi wrote the white paper for Bitcoin, right? It's like, okay, 2013 still pretty early in the days. Now, 2014 is when you announce your token, but 2015, we're talking about 6 years ago. Okay, and the fact is, the Ethereum Foundation has the jack, they have their own thing with they're sitting on escrow too, I believe. You definitely could go after them, but it's a lot more recent. It's a lot more offensive. You just go like, well, that was a couple of years ago. Those kids didn't know what they were doing. They were just getting it together.
That's right. And check this out. Devon said, same thing. Kick settlement, no one cares. But with XRP settlement, the maxis will be shouting it from the rooftops. They dislike XRP with a passion.
Right. And the part they're missing is that this is an enforcement action against all of crypto. But Jeff, what are the odds? What's the over and Gary Daddy G Gensler issuing Wells notices, which is would they give you a Wells notice? What if he issues those to Satoshi Nakamoto? And that's like when they give you that Wells notice, it means that it's a future. They're going to eventually, do something, right? It's a future thing. And I think a Wells notice would make sense in that case, because it's going to be in the future if they ever find out who Satoshi is. And don't worry, they'll figure out a way to go after. But we're not done with this tweet thread yet. And I think let's jump into the rest of it. Now we're in 2019 in January. Lubin says, we're big friends and fans of the SEC. He says the SEC has introduced a new construct called decentralization. Really, Jeff? Into their thinking. Nice. They would introduce the new decentralization into their thinking, and Bitcoin and Ethereum aren't securities. And he states that they have not said the same about other tokens like XRP. Come on, man. I mean, this is what he's saying. These are the facts. And then
I just want to show, though, that back in 2019, 2018, that was under a previous administration, and the crypto community, even though some of these conversations were going on, it was relatively hands-off from the SEC as this space was innovated and growing and building. Now you've got a guy that has come in, and he's got it as a mission statement to come in and clean house. And it's not just crypto, because he's coming after derivatives and, short selling and, all sorts of things. And, he's got the Robin Hoods of the world in his crosshairs. He's looking at the Reddit groups, and it's just, everything that he is doing and orchestrating is extremely, extremely, overzealous and overbearing. However, I was reading an article, I meant to put it in the keep, and someone said, oh, we finally have a grown-up in the room with Gary Gensler that wants to, hold people accountable. I'm like, he wants to hold people. People are nuts. People are absolutely out of their minds. It wasn't even Elizabeth Warren. I mean, it was someone probably at that same, mentality level. It's just craziness. Like, who in the world wants to hold accountable yet destroy the whole retail investment side of it? And they keep, and so the Wall Street bets guys, but yeah. So Joe is saying Gary wants to protect Wall Street. He's protecting those that he made his millions with. And
that's right.
He made his millions on Wall Street. He made his millions with the brick and mortars. And they are finding that the fintech and the crypto space is very antagonistic to the longevity of their their slush funds. And the politicians are easy to sway, because why not? I mean, they love making millions too. And they all, and most of them have, and it's just like, man,
it's ridiculous. I mean, so Lubin claims to know the SEC is not going to find any tokens other than Bitcoin and Ethereum Ether to be decentralized, dropping Hinneman's name as his source of information. January 2019, Coinbase meets with the SEC and informs them that they have run XRP through the securities framework. Coinbase and its lawyers conclude that XRP is not a security, inform the SEC it plans to list XRP, but wants to make sure it's not running afoul of the U.S. securities laws. The SEC does not state it believes XRP is to be a security. And on February 28, 2019, Coinbase lists XRP. So this is interesting because Coinbase actually notified the SEC and said, hey, we plan to list it, but yeah, of course, we ran it through our framework. It doesn't appear to be a security. They didn't come out and say, oh, we believe it is. No, it's all mum's the word, right? So this is this whole...
and that's another one, right, Chip? If they don't say anything, when you approach them, you can take their silence to the affirmative,
right?
That, hey, well, we approach you about, you don't want to respond to it. You obviously don't have an opinion on it, so we're going to keep pushing ahead. Don't come out after. Oh, it's so clear, all the way back to 2000, so clear. What a clown.
That's where the fair notice is going to come into play. It's like, well, where's the fair notice for any of these? Then you got June 19th of 2019. Ripple buys the 9% stake in MoneyGram with the SEC's full knowledge that Ripple will transfer XRP to MoneyGram for cross-border payments. MoneyGram would likely sell the XRP in the secondary market to XRP investors, holders with absolutely no connection to Ripple. And what did they do there, Jeff? They didn't say no.
They said nothing. Right.
Nothing.
Again, the SEC has to have authorized that major purchase by a corporation. So Ripple comes in, says, we're taking a 9% stake in MoneyGram. We want you to know it's all transparent. It's out there. We're letting you know. And we're using our digital asset to do it. And like you just read, and it might be sold, in order to, it's crazy. So the SEC has knowingly has documented all of these conversations. And yet Gary Gensler comes in, after the fact, oh, all they have to do is just come in and talk to me. Just come in and talk to me. And if they don't, I'm going to file a lawsuit.
Then I'll give them a Wells notice and you will be sued sometime in the future. You can bet on it. And then Deaton says on September 12, 2019, Nancy Wotas admits most of Hinman's speech was lifted from the investors' proposal and meetings that we had that were led by Andreessen and Perkins Coie. So so to put that in perspective, his speech was largely written by who? Andreessen and Horowitz, because they were involved in it too. And Andreessen Horowitz is also an investor in Ripple. But Perkins Coie is again a law group. You want to talk about nefarious? Google their name, you'll see all kinds of stuff going on with that organization. And then you have Lubin admits on September 15th that Ether's launch, we needed to put something out there that we knew was not scalable. Now, this is interesting. This was recently uncovered. I remember seeing the video on this. It wasn't scalable. So the whole idea was, it seems like they led investors to believe that they had the answer, and what they were really doing, it was rushing it. Even though from 2014 to 2015, a year later, they didn't have it figured out, and they knew that it wasn't scalable, and they knew at some point they would have to do some retooling on it. But hey, let's get the investors in the marketplace, because if you wait to do it right, what happens? Your potential opportunity dries up. So it's sounding a lot more like to me that it's almost was this scam perpetuated on investors, knowing up front that it wouldn't scale and it had a problem. I don't know. It's interesting. And then you got August 25th through the 28th, Consensus acquires Quorum, and Lubin says his Quorum acquisition is offering an interbank information network that's similar to what SWIFT does. And then adds that Consensus supports JPM Morgan's own stablecoin, JPM coin, right? And then a direct competitor to Ripple and XRP. So the narrative's building where you can see Joe Lubin always mentioning XRP, always against XRP, the whole thing with the Garlinghouse talking about we want to crush SWIFT. And now you've got the most damning evidence of why he...
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I'll say why he acquired Quorum. And what he says his interbank information network is actually similar to what SWIFT does. So that's interesting, Jeff. That's kind of like what Ripple was going after, right? Are they trying to take out their biggest competition here?
Yeah, that's exactly. So, it's interesting because now it looks like Joe Lubin is the common thread throughout this entire the entire conversation. with Clayton, with Hinman. It looks like Joe Lubin is over there in their ear saying, I know about this stuff. I know about this stuff, giving advice or whatever it might be. He seems to keep, being injected throughout the entire narrative. And then all of a sudden, last August, look what's happening. He wants to compete. It's like, oh yeah. So now, we're very close, so we're still, a number of months away from, SEC, dropping the big bomb on Ripple. But this is interesting. So in August, this is the narrative now. He's got the ear. He's pushing the narrative, pushing the ideas. And now I'm interested to see what's next. It's like watching a movie here.
And we wouldn't know. It's a great tweet thread. But we wouldn't have known had Nancy Motas, if she hadn't said she hadn't come out there and talked about the fact that a lot of the Hinman speech, a lot of the whole thing about decentralization, the other person on the stage also mentioned, well, why not Ripple? I mean, how come they're so the narrative's there, consensus. So then we got October 6th, 2020. We're getting closer to the drop date. Lubin admits he has a regulatory advantage and claims Bitcoin and Ether arrived before regulators were paying attention. And we were fortunate enough to frame our token as a utility token. He says all altcoins are speculatively disadvantaged when compared to ETH. This is just nonsense, Jeff. This makes no sense. There's tons of altcoins out there that have far better use cases in some ways, or at least do a lot, especially when you look at XRP.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing. We get to the Ethereum. I was sending you messages last night. So still trying to play around with Ethereum, trying to go into these different. They're building all these NFT games. On utilizing Ethereum. Some are using BSC. Some are using Matic. And I have a lot of high hopes for Polygon, for Matic. And so still trying to get and move Ethereum into the Matic mainnet wallet that I created on MetaMask. And so I'm trying to migrate Ethereum. First of all, I sent it from Coinbase over to the Matic wallet, and it should have been recognized automatically. And then,
oh boy,
it wasn't seen. It doesn't show up. So I'm like, all right, reading the blogs, find some. And it's interesting. As I'm reading the blogs, one of the people there said, this is why we don't have mainstream adoption, because it's way too difficult. And so here I am. So I'm looking for, and then I have to create a token within this Matic mainnet on MetaMask that's WETH with a specific address for the whole thing. I still don't see it on my MetaMask, but I can follow the link and I can see that I moved the Ethereum. The Ethereum's there. It's just not showing up on the Matic mainnet on MetaMask. And so that's what I need to use. And then I go and say, okay, so I've got Ethereum that's been stuck on my other MetaMask account on the Ethereum mainnet. I go to move it over to the Matic mainnet, and it tells me I'm going to move. I said, okay, I'm going to move $30. I only need $30 over there. It was going to cost me $45 to move
come on.
$30. It said
That's
the total
ridiculous.
amount you need is $75. And I let it sit for a while. Then it went down to like 42. Then it was like 38. I'm like, holy crap. It's going to cost me $72. So it's going to cost me more than what I want to move in order to move it. So I'm like, all right, let me just move it from Coinbase. And that was the whole thing. And then I'm just like, this is ridiculous. I can't even get $30 onto the Matic mainnet that I created. So how am I supposed to even engage with these games on there and try to figure these NFTs out? I'm like, hey, this will be great. We can talk about it. I can't even get money over there.
Put a couple $100 in, Jeff.
It's insane, man. Yeah, it's crazy. I could do that, and I'll say I'm going to move 30, but it's going to cost me 40. So I'm going to spend 70 to move 30. Now, the whole thing is insane with Ethereum, but man, there's so many disadvantages, and we're looking at this whole thing unfold. It's so crazy.
Yeah. So Sean Thompson says Lubin was controlling the whole regulatory narrative. That's a really
the whole thing.
That's a really interesting observation there. And he goes, so then we get to October 2020.
Before you continue, I want to throw these up real quick. Another one from EC. He was saying Gary learned to eat pizza with a fork and knife at MIT. And I think that's really funny. But I would say he probably learned to eat a Snickers bar with a fork and knife, because to be fair, if you go to Italy, You get your pizza, you don't get slices. You get a big round pizza that's just for you, and you eat it with a fork and knife. So, but but
There you
that's
go.
hilarious though. But I like that. That's a great comment. Jared Brown was saying, I want to give you all 589, but it wouldn't let me. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, Jared.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So October 2020, One River bets 1 billion on Bitcoin and Ether. And then that's important to keep that One River in your mind. November 20th, 2020, Vitalik Buterin states, we are getting rid of the network's proof of work mechanism to replace it with one entirely based on proof of stake, and admits it's still a leap that people have to take. In December 22nd of 2020, walking out the SEC, out the door, you got Jay Clayton votes for and directs the case against Ripple, his client's competitor, claiming all XRP sales over the last 7.5 years constitute investment contracts with Ripple, including all secondary market sales with no connection to Ripple. Then you got Clayton goes to One River to push Bitcoin and Ether. So when he left, he ends up a couple months later, he ends up at One River. Did they have discussions before the lawsuit was potentially dropped? See, I think it's not, he didn't do anything wrong by going there. Now, if they had discussions prior to that, or said, hey, we need to take these guys out, they pose a serious threat. If Lubin's like, hey, they're going to pose a serious threat to what we're doing, and now you've got Flare coming on the scene, you've got federated side chains, you've got low cost for NFTs, don't have to worry about the gas fees. Wow, that could potentially be an issue. And Clayton goes to One River, he pushes Bitcoin and Ether because that was, they already bet on it. At the SEC, Hinman collected $15 million from his law firm as a board member of the EEA, and now as a partner at Andreessen's $2.2 billion crypto fund, the same investors who helped write the speech, and coincidentally, early investors in Ripple. These are the facts, and they are not in dispute. And there's one hell of a narrative that was built there. And again, big props out to Johnny Deaton, who, thank him for putting that together. Nice work there, Johnny.
That was solid. Holy cow, that was the best.
You read that?
Fake news. Oh, ETH is fully built out, unlike Ripple. Fake news. Michael Atu is heading over to the bar. He'll be back in a couple minutes. You got to get it. And then Sir John is saying it's an abomination to eat pizza with the hands. Come on.
How do you eat it?
In America,
with your
face?
With your
hands. Yeah.
Oh no, man! You grab that slice and right in the mouth.
Oh, there's nothing like grabbing a slice, thin crust pizza. Forget about that deep dish in Chicago. Thin crust, New York style. And you fold it in half. Oh man, it's the best.
Chop it up, throw some little chilies on there, a little bit of cheese, extra cheese on there.
Oh man,
it's fantastic. I'm getting hungry,
We've hit, after tennis on Saturdays, we have hit every pizza place in South Florida. We've gone all the way to Miami.
Have you gone to Rara's? That's that's where my daughter works, and they make excellent pizza.
I haven't gone north of the border.
You got to go north of the border, man. They make some good pizza.
We haven't left Broward north. We've gone south today, but we haven't gone north to where you guys are.
Okay, I'm just saying, man. It's good pie. It's very good pie. And
hey, I got to put this up. It's funny. I was always thinking of these little clips. We got, Gary, we got the whole crowd that's always gathering in front of the S. Go, Gary, go. Go, Gary, go. And then I'm thinking about that, and I was thinking it's funny because you got Janet Yellen, you got Elizabeth Warren, you've got Gary Gensler, you got all these guys, and it's like each one of them is following themselves over the abyss one by one. And I'm like, what would represent that the best? And I was like, oh my God, Monty Python. Oh my God, that's so funny.
That's awesome. Yeah, it really does hit it pretty well. I want to put this couple quick bits here. We got James Rule put this up, XRP. Both Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple and Gary Gensler from the SEC will be speaking on the 21st. This is DC FinTech Week. They're going to be speaking on the same day. I'd like to see if they run into each other in the hall and you go, investment contract. Gary G. Daddy G. Gensler. And then I saw this one here, Jeff. Somebody had put this out there, and I kind of thought this was fantastic. And it goes like this. If you give a man a gun, he can rob a bank. You give a man a bank, he can rob the world. There you go. Love the look on that face right there, too. It's like, hello there, buddies.
He's got his hot tea.
Talk about
He's
Mr.
good.
Politician,
He's good to go.
highfalutin politician. Like,
And why is he holding his teacup like that? Very bizarre.
he's a nut job, Jeff. Who knows? He's a banker. He owns several banks, and he's coming after you.
That's
We got to
right.
protect the banks because you know why, Jeff? They're too big to fail. We can't have them failing. We can't have something running out or something bad happening. It's all got to be good stuff, Jeff.
It's the best. It's the best, man.
Yeah, and I wanted to throw this little quick hit up here too. This has to do with so FTX is coming on the scene. They're really looking to go after OpenSea.
Yeah.
And first with Solana NFTs, Ethereum only weeks away. So again, you can now buy Solana NFTs with USD on FTX's regulated marketplace, and Ethereum support's on the way. Why would you want Ethereum support?
Dude,
So you can,
I was trying to get those NFTs on OpenSea, and you can't do
Right.
it. You can't do it. It's
why do you want
impossible.
to why do you want to deal with that?
How does anybody do it? I'm mystified at this point.
Mystified.
When
I think
is
about
the
it in
when
excess.
are the NFTs going to be launched on the XRPL? That's what I want to know. That's going to be like pennies on the dollar. It'll be so easy to transact. All the projects will be so amazing.
It's coming, Jeff. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, but it is coming.
Overnight. I want it overnight. It's kind of like how Sir John eats his pizza. So XRP Speedboat says Sir John eats his pizza with a fork, yet drinks beer out of the can. That's
Listen, man, there's nobody
right
here that you're going to see. No, it's never going to happen, man. The best thing you could ever do is grab that pie, separate it. It's really fantastic.
EC is saying it's official. Lubin is worm tongue from LOTR.
I know worm tongue. I'm sorry, man. You're a cultural reference. It's not there.
That's a show.
Anyway, I know it's a show, but I'm not really that.
That's Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay, Lord of the Rings. There
Right?
you go. Lord of the Rings. Yeah, worm
I
tongue.
think so.
Gotcha.
Hey, do you know that Lord of the Rings is coming to Amazon? September of 22. That's gonna be pretty
Yeah.
cool.
It's pretty awesome.
Yep. Hey, just because we haven't done this in a while, and just because I have to do it.
Oh, we have to. I know what you're
going
gonna do. I know what you're gonna do.
All right. All right. Let's do it. Do it. Do it.
Come on, man. Berserker.
And you're missing another one. Play the one with the music.
There we got to get the other one in there. I'm going to do the original because the original, I got to do the original. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. This one's for you.
Wie einst Lily Marlin. Wie einst Lily Marlin.
And that, of course, is OG Sir John, who's here with us tonight. And I thought I would play this. This again, another short bit started flying around the internet about what's her name? Her name is Hester Pierce.
Hester Pierce.
Oh, hell yeah, hodl. He says decentralize the SEC. Oh, hell yeah. Can I get a hell yeah? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But that would mean that Gary Daddy G would not be controlling it anymore. It'd be we the people or something along those lines, even if it was. Right. So that's a little bit. So let's pull this puppy up.
I think there's a technical glitch. Hang on. I'm trying to fix this technical glitch. Hang on one second. Oh,
wow.
There we go.
It's incredible. He got it working. So this is Hester Pierce. Look at there's a real short clip here, but listen what she says.
All right.
It doesn't matter what I think or what my fellow regulators think. What matters, and I think this is really important, is what you think, what the public thinks, what the people want. Regulators easily forget that, but our directives should be coming from the people up, not from the regulator down. And so I hope that we will really work on building a sensible regulatory framework.
Boom. Who nominates Hester Pierce as the chairwoman? She should be the chair. She should be the chair. Take out Daddy G. She's the only one that has she's the only one that has a brain in that organization. And I love how outspoken she is. She's not lying down. She's not like, okay, you didn't read my stuff. Of course, she's playing within the lines. Of course, she has to be cool.
Still hasn't called her.
Still hasn't called her, hasn't texted, nothing like that. But you know what? I love the fact that she's like just speaking out. She doesn't care, man. She doesn't care.
That's the best thing, that we're seeing. People just finally are to that point where they're so fed up They finally are speaking their minds the way it should have been this whole time. They shouldn't be, hiding behind semantics and, all that politics. Just come out and say what you mean,
And
and
mean
then
what
mean
you
what you
say.
say. Exactly. And, for all those that are brand new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notifier. I know we didn't do it early on, but you guys know the routine. It's that red subscribe button, the bell, and the bell does help because then you get notified. And I think Apex had reached out to you, said, hey, you didn't even get the notification.
That
And
happens
he's
sometimes.
got the bell set to all, and it's good. It pops up. I'm like, hey, Chip, you realize we're streaming in 30 minutes. I get the notification. It's awesome.
I know that. I like that because then I can see what's going on. One last hit, because this is Charlie Gasparino, and he says the global corporate tax project is bad policy that will reduce tax competition. Congress shouldn't compound the damage by making U.S. taxes even more burdensome. And who do they have there? They have Janet Yellen, who wants to eliminate the debt ceiling because why do we need a debt ceiling, Jeff? Let's just spend ourselves into out of existence. Why not?
Just spend it and spend it and spend it. And it's
And spend it.
just keep
Spend
printing
spend
it. And cryptocurrency is only used for nefarious purposes and bad.
That's what we're told, Jeff.
And oranges, Chip, oranges and the Howey test and making money off the efforts of others.
Well, here you go. Not only decentralize the SEC, decentralize it all, Jeff. Every
Decentralize all of it.
single stinking bit of it. You know why? Because decentralization equals freedom. And they're scared
Freedom.
and they don't like
Freedom.
freedom. Look at that, Jeff. I didn't even know you had the freedom shirt on today, but nice going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I have some kind of a print shirt on today. Okay, that's all we have for you guys. We're going to come back here, be back here tonight. A whole bunch of new stories to talk about, stories and flavors of the week and a little bit of crypto regulation in there. Talk about Ripple, some stuff that's going on. Oh, man, just rewind it. That's the end. Yeah, you're going to want to see that.
Lab rat showed up
Lazy
late.
Lab Rat, you're going to want to see that amazing Johnny Deaton tweet thread. Man, it's
was
a tweet storm. Outstanding.
It was
Totally
a tweet
nailed it.
storm. Now I got to change the thumbnail and the title. And it's a whole,
There you go.
I think it was still fitting. But yeah, that's awesome, man. Awesome, outstanding. 6 days a week, Chip. We are streaming 6 days a week, Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know what's cool? We have the best and the brightest from the entire crypto ecosystem show up here in the chats every night and hang out with us, which is outstanding. And we have a lot of new names that are floating through the chat tonight, and I'm so happy to see that. It's great to see so many new people, so many
Yeah, it
new
really
faces.
is.
And the best thing is tomorrow night we get to do this all over again, Chip.
Damn right we do, Jeff. And I'm looking forward to it already. And it's not even started. We got 23 hours and a few minutes left, but we'll get it all together. A little bit of rest in there. You guys take care. We guys will see you soon. Chip and Jeff out. See you guys.
See you on the next one.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.